Okay, so there's been a lot of information coming up on social media when it comes to this case of the missing child, little 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell. Most specifically in regards to the mom Megan and her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, Hunter. Really, sometimes it's so hard to kind of filter through rumors and fact, and I just want to kind of go over some of that here. Anyhow, so this is the mom, Megan. She also goes by the nickname Maggie. Her last name is Boswell, but she has another Facebook account where she uses the name Maggie Wood. Really, she has more than a few Facebook accounts, but most of them look to be made when she was quite a bit younger. And honestly, I think that can be kind of normal, especially, in that age group that she's in. So she has this boyfriend, Hunter, and we'll get to him in more detail a little later on, but his last name is Wood. I guess it's just really strange to me that this girl would start going by his last name without being married. Megan has been at the center of all this controversy lately over the fact that her daughter has been missing for 2 months, yet, as we all know, not officially reported missing until February 18th. So, right off the bat, this makes her suspect number one. On her accounts, there are an awful lot of posts that paint her in the light of being a really loving, caring mom, but it's hard to ignore some of her friends and even family kind of creeping up through the woodwork and insisting on how shady she's been behaving lately. I know people can kind of jump the gun and jump to conclusions, and I understand that, but I can't help but to notice that I've seen next to nobody kind of come to this girl's defense. In any case, I'm looking forward to seeing how the details when it comes to her having any possible involvement in all of this, how they unfold. Alright, so this is the boyfriend, Hunter. Really, I try not to judge people on appearances, but I can't be the only one to think that this guy has that. I'll just say it, he has a crazy look in his eyes in a lot of his photos. Maybe I'm totally wrong and he's stable and a really nice guy. Honestly, I know it's not fair to judge just based on that, but it just caught me off guard. If I had to guess, and this is only speculation and going off of gut instinct, this guy may have a drug addiction or maybe some kind of mental illness. People who have known him have said he is into hard drugs, and I could see that, but again, none of that is fact. So, appearances aside, this guy has recently opened up a chicken shack in Tennessee, and I gather that he had the help and support of his family getting that idea and business off the ground. His family aside, I've also seen a lot of people who are familiar with him to say that they perceived him as bad news and at worst dangerous. It does look like he has somewhat of a criminal background. I found a few mugshots of this guy, and it looks like he may have a few charges, including a traffic violation, theft, and an aggravated criminal littering charge. I couldn't help but to kind of laugh at the littering one. I mean, hopefully, if he does have anything to do with the missing baby girl, he doesn't have the skills to get away with things cleanly, considering he's a convicted litter bug. So he has done an interview with reporters, and I really thought it was interesting what he had to share. I have a shorter video posted with the interview, and I'll link that in the description in case there's anyone out there who hasn't seen it. I do think it's worth watching. So, Hunter says that he dated Megan for a few weeks in December and he never once saw the child. He says, and I'll quote him here, "All I've seen is pictures of her. I've never even seen the baby. I have no relationship with that child whatsoever." He went on to tell the reporter that he met Megan when she applied for a job at his restaurant. He described the relationship as on and off and said that they never got serious enough for him to notice any red flags. He said that Megan told him that Evelyn was staying with her father, Ethan Perry, while he was home on military leave for Christmas. He continues to explain that Megan and Ethan have half custody to the best of his knowledge. He says, and I'll quote him again, "It's not my business to dig further into that because we weren't that serious for me to dig further." He said that he saw Maggie 2 days ago and hasn't heard from her since. He also mentioned that his business and its reputation has been smeared across social media after the Amber Alert was issued. He goes on to further say, and I'll quote him, "I'm not doing this to, hurt the investigation because all in all, the entire matter here of what's going on and what needs to be resolved is finding that baby. He told reporters that he believes Evelyn's dad, Ethan, alerted police of her disappearance. He added that while he was seeing Megan, she told him, and I'll quote him another time, while Evelyn's father, Ethan, had the child, the baby, fell off the bed and broke her arm, and he took her to the hospital. That's what I was told. So, a few things jump out to me after all of that. The first one being that they allegedly only dated for a few weeks and things were never serious, yet she has that Facebook account with his last name. The other thing is how he did say he had contact with her just a few days ago. Either that's because she was still working at the chicken shack, or they were still somewhat close. In all fairness, I can see them remaining friends and co-workers after a fling. However, another thing that complicates that is that Megan posted to either Facebook or Instagram about the two of them moving into a new house together. I mean, I said it before, she could be just totally crazy obsessed, ex-girlfriend that didn't understand he wasn't all that into her, or he's really trying to downplay something more serious. So, all of that drama aside, personally, the biggest thing that worries me about him is just the fact that they were dating within that time frame of the child last being seen. Either he's innocent and has really bad timing and taste in women, or this guy is lying through his teeth. There have been all kinds of crazy things being said online, one of which is that they were just pictured together as recently as February 4th. I've seen the picture myself, and there's a few things to consider with that. One, just because the picture was posted that day, it doesn't mean it was taken that day. Two, it's not like they are embraced, or affectionate or anything like that. This could have just been a friendly get-together. I'm just saying it's not like they're making out next to a newspaper that has February 17th as the date or something. Going back to the interview, though, I think it's interesting that he chose to speak to the media and didn't kind of keep his mouth zipped up or even lawyer up if he's getting heat put on him. Honestly, if it were me, whether or not I was guilty or innocent, if I was involved in something like this, I would immediately have a lawyer, and the last thing I would do is take interviews. I don't know, that's just me. In the end, when it comes to Hunter, or even the mother, really, we just don't know yet. It does all make you wonder, though. There's a lot of other things being talked about. Shady grandparents and uncles with attempted murder charges on the mom side, crazy brothers with criminal backgrounds on the boyfriend side, gypsy grandmothers who people say could have sold the baby. It just seems to me that this little girl, Evelyn, had a lot of people in her life who have a checkered past. As sad as that sometimes is, that alone does not equal guilty, guys, and I just urge you all to kind of keep that in mind as this whole thing moves forward. Oh, and I want to address the Amber Alert discrepancies. It seems as when this news first came out, an Amber Alert was not issued. The sheriff's office released a statement as to why not, and then shortly after changed their minds and issued one. The first Amber Alert included information about a vehicle. I've blurred it out here because the following statement requested that the alert be retracted as to not hinder the investigation. Then they released a new alert without that vehicle description. I just don't want to put anything out there that, officials say could be detrimental to ultimately finding out what has happened to this adorable little girl. So once again, if anyone out there has any solid tips that could lead to finding this baby, please call the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. And I just want to thank you guys so much for watching.